Yeah, 30 bob, and I'll tell you what I'll do. The first 2 hands up to take it away. Not even 25 bob. I want one price to speak up sharp. Yeah, pal.
This is the marketplace, where business began and still goes on, where the buyer and the seller make their deal man to man, face to face, and money rarely does pass from hand to hand.
Little mouse, little toy mouse.
How many contributors left in that box? 4. Give me one up. I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
When you're trading like this, it isn't too difficult to keep things under control. You know your stock and you meet your customers. For business here is a very personal affair.
And everyone is guaranteed to hold 8.5 gallons of soup.
How many?
5.5.
How many?
4.5.
How many?
2 bloody spoonfuls. Here's it.
But when the scale of business changes, we enter a different world. A world where there are trends to watch and long-term plans to make, where executives must have the salient facts carefully selected and quickly presented from a mass of detail if they're to know as much about their business as the man behind the stall knows about his. Today, an executive without statistics is like a man without eyes, for it is only from his statistics that he can know the facts. Facts about production. Facts about sales. Facts about stocks. Facts about transport. Facts about staff. Facts about prices. Facts pouring in ever-increasing quantities by every available means. To deal with these facts, there are vast clerical systems. Thousands of people in thousands of offices spending day after day, all trying to get the right facts onto the desk of the right man at the right time. They add up and they multiply, they copy and they type, they count and they file. But the established systems cannot keep up with the increasing pace and demands of modern business. In spite of all this effort, all is not well. This is an electronic computer, a machine which will provide management with new means to use mathematical techniques and make possible the mechanization of many routine clerical operations. Let's analyze the basic character which much clerical work follows. This girl is checking the national health insurance to be paid by new employees. She takes the names from a wages sheet and checks particulars from personnel record cards. Finds the total number of stamps in each denomination, notes these on a jotting pad, calculates the total, and finally, she'll put a note of the total into her out tray. This work has 5 distinct stages, a pattern which is the same in many clerical tasks. Input of information, storage of information, control of the operation by set rules, calculation, and the output of the finished work. The computer has been designed to deal with each of these stages, even control. For within limits, the computer controls itself. The girl's function is similar to that of an office supervisor, setting her clerks to work and then leaving them to get on with the job. But to begin at the beginning, here, without too many technical details, is how the computer is designed to deal with the various stages of a clerical operation. Different colored borders will identify the different stages. First, in a red border, there's the input of information. Information is fed into the computer on punch tapes. Each arrangement of holes represents a number or letter, on a principle similar to that of the Morse code. The information is first punched into paper tape. Then, as a check, the information is repunched on a second machine. Any discrepancy between the two punchings is discovered and a correct master tape is produced. This master tape is fed into a tape reader, which turns the punched holes into electrical impulses in order to feed the information into the computer. Storage of information, in blue, is the second aspect of the operation. Information can be stored on a rapidly revolving magnetic disc, or in the circuitry, analogous to sets of tables or a jotting pad, or on magnetic film. The film forms a permanent filing system, for it can be removed from the computer and stored, with all the information it contains, for later use. These two colors indicate that both calculation and control are built into the computer's circuitry. The computer is, in effect, a complex system of electronic switches, which can be made to solve problems which have been broken down into a series of single logical steps. Finally, in a yellow border, we have the output of the computer, the results of the operation, which can be converted into readable form in many ways. In this case, the results are recorded on magnetic film. This film is taken out of the computer and converted into a number of punched paper tapes. It would be possible to produce punched tapes directly from the computer and feed them straight into the typewriters, but often even the fastest punching equipment cannot keep pace with the computer. In this installation, electric typewriters are used, the tapes being fed into separate machines which turn the punched code into plain language like these typed forms. We've seen that the computer can handle the 5 stages of a typical clerical operation. Analyzing the logic behind a clerical operation will often show that basically it consists of giving yes or no answers to simple factual questions. These the computer can be taught to answer by using its system of on or off switches, deciding for itself which of 2 paths to follow, depending on answers it has itself supplied. We shall see this if we analyze the national health insurance example. There are many rates: men over 65, boys under 18, and those between. Women too, old, young, and in between. Further, women pay either the full or a reduced rate. The clerk has to decide which applies. The logic goes like this. Examine the record card. Sick? Yes or no? Yes. Then no contribution. Next card. Sick? No. Male? Yes. Over 65? No. Under 18? No. Then he's a middle group male and he pays accordingly. And so the process goes on. These factual questions involve no judgment. The computer can be made to follow through this kind of logical process under its own control. Many large-scale commercial systems are of this basic type, and once broken down into successive yes-no stages, can be handled by the computer. Here is an example from the office of a United Africa Company confectionery buyer. The buyer has called in 2 computer specialists, or programmers, to discover if the computer can tackle his particular problem. He's responsible for buying a wide variety of confectionery goods. He himself is based in London, so to buy intelligently for retail outlets scattered throughout West Africa, he must have a clear and accurate picture of his stock position at all times, and up-to-date information about how his various lines are selling. A large proportion of his stocks is always likely to be in the complicated transport pipeline between London and West Africa. His stock position is never static, so the information he needs is valueless if it doesn't reach him quickly. His problems are very down-to-earth ones, concerned with ships and crates and prices, in 2 continents, one of which is 3,000 miles from his office. It isn't easy to keep a continuous check on stocks passing through a pipeline like this one. Timetables may be uncertain and delivery dates problematical, while information about the movement of cargoes on these distant beaches necessarily takes some time to reach London. Even when his goods reach their destination, it isn't always easy to get up-to-the-minute information about how they are selling. Some retail outlets are modern shops like the Kingsway stores in Lagos, with a big volume of retail sales and making their returns as regularly as any business in London. But up country, in the small towns and villages, there are a multitude of trading stores selling not only at retail prices, but also at wholesale prices to the traders who resell in the marketplaces. The buyer needs sales figures from the trading posts just as much as he does from the big department stores, for the decisions he has to make in London depend on the buying preferences of women here in Africa. His buying must respond quickly to their changing tastes, and he must be aware of the variations in local preferences. This isn't difficult for the manager of the trading stores. He's left in no doubt as to what his customers think of his goods and his prices. But the buyer, 3,000 miles away, has to depend solely on the information recorded on dockets. From trading stores all over West Africa, information is channeled back to the buyer in London. His biggest problem is how to get it sorted and classified quickly enough to be useful to him in making his day-to-day buying decisions. No human beings can produce classified information as quickly as he needs it. The buyer wants to know if the computer can help him. But first, the programmers must study the existing procedures, a process which may take months. The office manager explains the general outline of the work, and the long process of analysis begins. The programmers split up, each sitting with a different clerk to watch the details of their part of the work and to examine the kind of decisions they're taking. They want to see how far the work can be reduced to the kind of factual question and answer system which the computer can handle. As the study progresses, to get a clear picture of what is involved, the programmer sketches out block diagrams and flow charts of the way information flows through the existing clerical system. And, as the diagrams develop, they begin to see exactly what the computer is being asked to undertake. From this exhaustive survey, the programmers and the buyer together must now decide if this is a suitable task for the computer. If so, the programmers prepare a composite flow chart of the whole operation, showing how information is transferred from form to form and from department to department. The programmers will need further explanation from the buyer. They may suggest modifications to his present procedures so as to make fuller use of the computer's special characteristics. The buyer is consulted at every stage. From the flowchart, he sees how the existing system has been analyzed to discover exactly what happens in the processing of incoming information from invoices and order forms before it reaches his desk. This preparatory work alone may take months. The system may have to be revised, information recoded, and forms redesigned. The whole procedure must be broken down into a simple, step-by-step, yes-no routine. Then, as each stage is completed, the next task begins, the preparation of a program for the computer, which will enable it to progress from one mechanical decision to another, exactly as the girl determined the national health insurance contribution. Once a program has been written, it is tested on the computer. The program is now ready to be demonstrated to the buyer, and he watches a preliminary run. He sees his monthly indents and the roll of tape which contains all the information from them fed into the computer. The buyer has agreed to use the computer because he believes that its speed and accuracy will justify all the effort and inevitable disruption the changeover will involve. Now, after months of work, he is about to see positive results. In the output room, he sees code results fed into an electric typewriter to produce typed orders in hours instead of days. And in addition, an analysis giving a selection of the salient facts which could not have been made economically by clerical means. The buyer will now be able to base his decisions on more reliable and up-to-date information than ever before. But tackling clerical work is only one use for the computer. The computer was originally designed for scientific and technical work, such as aeronautics, where a machine with a vast capacity for rapid mathematical calculation was essential. It has been used in connection with such advanced scientific techniques as radio astronomy and in many departments of atomic energy research. In commerce, one of the applications of the computer's unique mathematical ability begins here. Walls have a buying problem. They need over 1,000 pigs every day, and each week they must decide what kind of pigs to buy. All the company's products have their own recipes, varying within strict limits and demanding specified proportions of lean and fat. But the fluctuating demand means that each week the required amounts of fat and lean change. So, each week it must be decided what proportions of each kind of pig available it will be most economic to buy. The difficulty is that a pig is not just a pig. There are as many as 15 different categories by weight and price. There are differences in age, and each type of pig gives a different proportion of fat and lean meat. And the price may vary even from day to day. Then there are many ways of cutting up a pig. And the way the cuts are utilized affects the proportions of fat and lean available. Now, suppose the buyer wants in any one week certain specific proportions of fat and lean to meet production requirements. If, from all the possible kinds of pig available, he doesn't buy the right combination, he may be left with a surplus of lean, which would be wasteful. Or a different combination of pigs could give him a surplus of fat. Or again, he may get the proportions of fat and lean correct, but be buying pigs which don't give him the most economical combination. A team of mathematicians could calculate the answer to the problem in about 3 weeks, but a new answer is needed every week. The computer can do this. Given the basic information about pigs and recipes, it can be related to the weekly variables such as current prices and availability of the various kinds of pigs. In a matter of hours, the computer can provide information for a week's buying program accurately geared to the company's production requirements. The computer's startling capacity for mathematical calculation is finding new applications in every field. For transport, it can work out the best of all the variations and combinations possible in moving differing quantities of goods to and from different places in ever-changing circumstances. With the factory itself, the computer can help to determine both its most economic size and even the best place to build, calculating the relative importance of factors such as sources of raw materials, sources of suitable labor, access to main consumers, and distance to port facilities. In some factories, there may be more than one way of using raw materials and plant. The computer can help us to know which is the most advantageous. Again, it can bring a new accuracy to the calculation of production schedules. Planning normally starts with an estimated volume of sales. The problem is to produce the goods most economically. Take labor, for instance. Too much labor is wasteful. Shortage of labor, made up by overtime, is expensive. Idle equipment is wasteful. But under-equipment may mean overworked machines and breakdowns. Too little raw material will slow down production. But too much ties up capital, stocks deteriorate, and stores rentals mount. With all these factors, costs are subject to long and short-term variation. The computer can help to find the right balance, introducing a new level of scientific measurement. In the marketplace, there's no need for a computer.
There's a half a dozen large-sized 10-inch reflex.
He has it all literally at his fingertips. But a large organization is made up of many people, each knowing only a small section of the organization's activities. The computer can help to integrate the results of their work into a pattern on which the most effective possible executive decisions can be taken. Its terrific speed of mathematical calculation enables it to help production departments to keep prices down, to speed up the work of planning departments by taking over the labor of mathematical calculation, and to make it possible for transport schedules to be varied in the light of daily changing conditions. The computer will eliminate much drudgery, digesting masses of information and quickly presenting significant figures and trends. It can't happen overnight, but we are witnessing the beginning of a vast paperwork revolution. Here is a new instrument which will not only provide management with information as and when required, but will provide new kinds of information never before available, helping to reduce costs by planning more effectively and manufacturing more economically. The potentialities are there. Their development lies ahead.